every single person has a different need with health, be it big, middle, big, medium, or small. And just take one step towards something. It doesn't even matter. Whatever it is that interests you, you need. Like, you wouldn't be attracted to it. You wouldn't notice it if you didn't need it. So, when I think of the program here, I needed it.
Welcome to Forever Young, the health and well-being podcast from Lanserhof. My name is Mario Pederzolli, and in every episode, join me in conversation with a variety of health experts and special guests as we explore what it means to live well. We may not find the secret to eternal youth, but join me on our quest as we explore just what it means to live a balanced, healthy, and happy life. Hello again and welcome. Well, in today's show, which is the third in the Feel Well series of Forever Young, I am delighted to welcome today's special guest, the inspiring Dawn Russell. And we have much to discuss today. Dawn is the founder of 8 Greens, the effervescent vegetable-based dietary supplement, packed with superfoods, which, following its success in the United States, is now available here in the UK. And we will also touch on Dawn's personal health journey, which in part led to her founding 8 Greens. And we'll also take a closer look at how Dawn is feeling at the moment, having recently followed the Lanserhof 7-day fasting therapy program here at Lanserhof at the Arts Club. Medically supervised, of course, under the guidance of our very own Dr. Ursula Levine. Dawn, it's great to see you and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's ours. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Good. You look well. A picture of health.
Oh, thank you. I at the moment feel like a picture of health.
Well, maybe we'll touch on that later.
Please.
We do have a lot to discuss today, so let's see where the conversation takes us. And maybe let's find a little bit more about you and start with 8 Greens. Well, what led you to create 8 Greens, and was it always the master plan to be this, now transatlantic entrepreneur?
There was absolutely no plan whatsoever of that. It was obviously meant to be. It happened very much by accident, but maybe that's how all great things start. So I always start with, I'm fine. But when I was 25, I had stage 3 out of stage 4 cancer. And that truly, unbeknownst to me, was the beginning of 8 Greens. Essentially, I got a bone infection and couldn't do chemo or radiation, and really traveled the globe for a few years to end up back in my apartment going to the basics of nutrition, and really went deep into everything, and greens were what worked. Now, I always say, my story is obviously, very dire and has all the drama of cancer, and truly everyone's touched by cancer, so it's not like my story is that different. What it did was give me so much knowledge about greens, and also showed me how difficult greens can be for our everyday life. I had the motivation of being incredibly ill, and so once I got back on my feet, I really wanted to find a way to help everyone get greens in a daily way. So it was really 2 goals. I wanted it to be everyone. I didn't want it to be exclusive or, too costly, too difficult. And then secondly, daily, because if we're not feeling well or something, I feel like we'll do something for a week or whatever, but on a daily routine, it has to be pretty easy and pretty convenient.
Okay. Well, that's thank you for sharing that, Dawn, actually. I mean, you've obviously been through a lot in your mid-20s. What made you take it upon yourself to go on this fact-finding mission for what worked for you and arrive at Greens?
Well, I obviously, had the motivation of being really sick. I always say now, being 47, that I think naivety was bliss at that point. I don't know if I would have been, I wasn't married. I didn't have children. I was very much footloose and fancy-free in terms of having the time and the capability to really seek it out. I think also, when you're that ill, you are very motivated to find what will work. And it's such a cliche, but your body really does tell you. It doesn't lie. And that's what I found.
I think we you've touched on this really, but what is the premise? What is your mission with 8 Greens?
Truly to get greens into everyone. It's obviously become, a really large business, and there's, now, company dynamics and everything. But truly, at the end of the day, all I care about is getting real greens into everybody every day.
And you launched this business, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, 2016.
How's the response been? Was it a slow start? Did it immediately rocket? How's the experience been for you?
So it rocketed beyond our wildest expectations, which sounds, amazing, which it was. It also was incredibly hard to keep up with that. And you can land flat on your face very easily when it rockets like that. So I'm lucky to have an incredibly smart husband who came in and gave me a quick helping hand because we launched in Nordstrom in 119 stores without a single merchandising unit, a single SKU number. I mean, I knew nothing about retail or business or anything. I just thought, great. And we sold out in, it was 8 hours or something. I mean, it was bonkers. So it was great, but it was, the first 2 years were just catch up. It was fabulous. Everyone wanted it. Everyone was talking about it, but then you have to catch up and make it sustainable. And that's what we've really been working on.
Was it almost better not knowing what you know now?
Oh, completely. Naivety was so blissful at the beginning.
And what makes it unique, Dawn? And what are its particular benefits? For those that have yet to experience 8 Greens.
No, I appreciate you asking that, because the wellness has become just so trendy and so fatty that, it's like someone's launching a product every day.
You can almost get lost in, with all the messages that are out there. So what makes it unique?
It's hard to know what to do, especially if it's not something that you have a lot of knowledge on. So with our greens, I kept it very simple. There were a few things that we had to go by. One is it had to be the real greens. A lot of the products have extract or essence of, and we are the real greens from the farm. Were dehydrated and then put into a tablet or a gummy or what have you. No heats put on it, because obviously that would kill all the nutrients. So the first thing that was really important to us was the real greens. And then the second that was equally as important is that it had to taste good, but no, artificial flavoring, no, preservative, synthetic, we're the efficacy is the third thing that I was really, had to be non-GMO, gluten-free, etc. But to have it taste good and be real greens and keep to the level of the efficacy we wanted, it took, as I think you may know, 264 prototypes. So it was quite a challenge. And again, naivety is so blissful. I just kept going on and on and on and on until we finally got it.
So that there are people listening to this that would say that vegetables and taste good are rarely in the same sentence, and you had 264 goes at this. How did you arrive at your formula? And you mentioned Jamie, your husband, who, by happy coincidence, I know from a past life. Hello, Jamie. So tell me he was your guinea pig?
Oh, he was so my guinea pig, Mario. I mean, the pickiest man in the world is my husband, Jamie. So I thought, okay, if he likes it, anyone will like it. So, we always say, bless Jamie. He tried all 264. The first 100 were barely palatable. And then he was incredibly helpful, because I probably would have given up at about 240. I would have been like, fine. And then it became a whole smell issue. And he really stuck it out with me, because he's a guy that wanted complete and utter, I don't want to know there's a green in there. I want it to taste good. I want to think I'm just drinking something lovely every day.
Well, I think when I first met him, he was looking particularly well, so it must have coincided with...
He was pre-children, to be honest, but okay.
Okay, and actually, talking of children, there'll be parents of younger children listening, thinking of the daily battle we have encouraging our children just to eat vegetables. Can 8 Greens help? And is it something
without question. I mean, as you know, I have 2 young boys. It's for age 4 and over. And my boys, they demand it every day, which not because their mother founded it, let me tell you. It truly does taste good, and it's great. I happen to know what they're getting, but they think they're getting something tasty.
And maybe just to be clear, it's not a replacement for
No. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a good point, Mario, because a lot of, people haven't asked me that recently. At the beginning, people asked me that a lot. No, my whole goal is to get more greens into people. So if you then were replacing this with a salad or whatnot, that would be defeating everything. It's truly just, it's great with traveling and kids in particular. It's been really helpful. You know, in the car, it's great, but have your salads.
Quite right, too. Well, here's a question from one of our staff members, Claire, our nurse in the infusion suite. And she'd like to know the process, you touched on this earlier, of extracting the goodness, if you like, and the nutrients from the vegetables into the soluble tablet that you've produced.
Yeah.
Are nutrients lost along the way? And if not, how does this happen?
Yeah, so this was incredibly time consuming and important to me. So they're all made in America, where I'm from, and it's it's 8 greens, obviously 8 greens, and all 8 greens are dehydrated. The water is taken out, and then some vitamins are added because we wanted to have as much nutrients in there as possible, and then it's made into the tablet or the gummy.
Got it. And now turning to you a little bit, Dawn, you have business on both sides of the Atlantic. What does a typical day look like for you? You're also a mother, as you've said. How do you keep your balance and live well?
There's really no typical day, which I don't know if that's good or bad. There's just truly no typical day. We have an office here in London, and we have an office here in New York. With COVID, there's been a lot less travel, which has been fantastic, obviously, so I can be with my family. But it's also really grounded me to know, you don't have to travel as much as I was pre-COVID. It just truly isn't necessary. So I'm traveling a lot less. And in terms of balance, I did an interview a couple weeks ago in America, and I just randomly said it, but I really feel like it's true, and it really was a great reminder with the fasting process I went through here that I'd love to talk about. That I feel like because no day is the same for me, it really, like, my body will tell me, I don't have sensation in my left leg because of the bone infection when I had the cancer. And so some days I'll need to do acupuncture. Some days it will, be a really hard workout. Some days. So for example, I was so low on energy is what I was really feeling more than anything. And then to do your fasting program, I knew I needed like a cleaning to get back in balance. And that was incredible.
Well, let's maybe turn to that. So you did recently experience our fasting therapy program. We say on our website and in our brochures that the program helps detoxify the body, and you can experience a new sense of self. Our structured, medically supervised fasting program allows you to reset your body, get your metabolism back on track, improve your complexion, and boost cognitive performance. Is this what you were hoping to achieve? But maybe tell us about your experience personally throughout the 7 days.
Yeah, most of that is what I felt. What I really walked away, and I'm truly not just saying this because I'm doing a podcast with you. Anyone that knows me knows I'm pretty honest as the New Yorker that I am. What I was incredibly impressed with this program, and I have really traveled the globe, going to various centers, meeting with leading doctors and whatnot, studying what they really believe. What's so special about this program, and what I walked away just really having so much respect for you all here, is you not only do the fast, but in America, some of the fasting programs are incredibly intense, where you're almost on your knees because you simply don't eat for X amount of days. And I found that impossible, first of all. I just had to simply eat. And it was too extreme. You then just completely, at the end of the 7 days, you find yourself eating 3 days of food in one, sitting. So it really, how could you not sabotage yourself? You're so hungry. But secondly, what I really like is it's very sustainable what's done here in terms of the bread or crisps or however you want to call them. the yogurt, the broth, it's not, you're by no means starving. You're nurturing your body along the way, but also you're educating. And that's what I really respected, because I walked away with so many tips, and I really I've dedicated my life to this. I've been doing this for 20 years. So I kind of thought I knew a lot of things, and really learned a lot. And so it was great to see a few things in particular really will stay with me far, far, far after the center.
Well, that's great to hear. And for those that have never tried it before, what advice or encouragement would you give for them to try this?
Oh, I truly think it's essential. You need to experience it once. And I know it's time consuming and it's not easy, but it will truly affect. You will walk away, and that's really what I was trying to just get at. You will walk away taking a few nuggets that will change. You can sustain on your own. So many of these things that you do in the now super trendy health and wellness, you can do in an isolated situation, when you're in an island or on the farm, completely isolated doing it. And that's what I've really liked, is that, I don't want to go too much into what you do unless you want me to, but in terms of the broth and the Epsom salts and whatnot, you can sustain that far after you've left, and that's pretty rare.
Yes. And how do you feel? It's been a few weeks since you completed the program, but how do you feel since completing the program? Because it's
lighter, and I feel everyone says that, so I should have something far more interesting to say. But it's like there's a clarity, and I'm not meaning lighter physically. I mean, obviously you do lose weight, but I'm meaning there's a clarity of mind, and your infusions were huge for me. I felt when after I had done them, I would leave and really just feel almost like meditative, like going for a walk through the park or whatnot. You feel the lightness gives clarity as well. And I find that so essential in today's life.
Yes, I think that's an important point to make for those that maybe are contemplating a fasting program. It's not a weight loss program. It's a reset and a cleansing program. Quite often, weight loss is a byproduct of that, but that's not the initial premise or goal.
No, and I'm sure a lot of people come and do it because of weight loss, and then they will be very happily surprised that other things go on. But I mean, I can, I play tennis every Tuesday, and after doing the fast, that Tuesday, I played better tennis. Like there's a smoothness. Like there is, your body just, as you said, needs to detox and needs to clean it out. And it's almost like you become optimal through all the detoxing.
So for those listening that would like more information on our life fasting program, or any of our services here at Lanserhof at the Arts Club, or indeed 8 Greens, do email lanserhof@theartsclub.co.uk. Dawn, you sound like a bit of a superwoman with everything that you do.
I'm not,
but if that's not enough, you've also started the Dawn Russell Foundation.
Oh, yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
That was actually, I started that before I started 8 Greens. After, when I got back on my feet after being ill, I really wanted a way to help, and I didn't want it to be preachy. And I ended up spending a lot of time with high school girls in America, and just trying to show them everything I try to do. I try to keep very realistic, that we can do on a daily habit. I don't want these grand gestures that we do, for a couple days and then they die off. So spoke to a lot of high school girls about really how they can be healthy in a realistic way. And now we're doing a lot of stuff with 8 Greens. We've now Save the Children has joined, and just how can you help on daily health? It's all about realistic daily health.
Amazing. And what are the next few years? What's in store for the next few years for you, the foundation, 8 Greens? What will success look like?
2 healthy, happy children. That's me. For me, obviously for 8 Greens to be a success, I've put so much into this company that obviously I do want 8 Greens to be successful. For me, what is so important right now, and it's, I think America is just utterly saturated. I feel like the UK is a step lighter, but still getting so saturated with this health and wellness trend. And I think it's incredibly overwhelming and confusing for people because they don't know what works, what doesn't work, what do I need to invest in. It's all a bit of a maze. And for the next 2 years, I want to help people simplify it, because we all need to be healthy and we all want to be healthy, but it's really confusing. And it's something I really, give my hat off to you here. It's done in a really sustainable, succinct way. And health shouldn't be overwhelming.
No. Keeping it simple is very important, of course, and I think your message is clear. In fact, what have you learned about yourself, Dawn, over the last 20 plus years, with everything that you've experienced, everything you're creating, and as you're evolving as a person? What have you learned about yourself?
My whole life I've kept it simple, and I think that's really been helpful for me, to just keep things simple. Don't overcomplicate them, and marry well, which I think I did. I married someone really, really just great, and so I have an incredible support system. And honestly, what comes to mind, I feel like it's going to sound arrogant, which is the last thing I mean it to be, but really trust yourself. I do trust myself, and I think that's been...
Did you always trust yourself? Here's another way of asking that. What advice would you give your 18-year-old former self?
It's all going to work out. It's all going to be good. I have always trusted myself. My parents got divorced when I was really young, so I kind of had to take initiative myself from a very early age, and so I was forced to trust myself, and I think that just kind of carried itself on. But I definitely could have probably relaxed more as an 18-year-old. So that's what I would hope for.
Difficult for any 18-year-old to truly relax.
Right?
Maybe it's getting more difficult.
So much coming at them. I mean, oh, God, I'm glad I'm not 18 today.
Yeah, I second that. And what are the non-negotiables in your day, Dawn? How do you define what I must do and nothing else must get in the way? What are the red lines there?
That's a really good question. I must walk my younger child to school, and I absolutely put both my children to bed every night. For myself, I always take 30 minutes in midday, and it will be a walk. It will be something that is just me solo to clear out my mind, because the first half of my day is so UK heavy, and then the second half of the day, it's almost like I reboot with America coming at me. I also go to bed remarkably early. I think people would be surprised to know I do. I find I'm done at a certain point. Like, I'm going to go backwards if I take that 11 p.m. conference call with LA. Forget it.
Yes, that was my next question then. If you're done at a certain time in the evening, but of course the United States is still trading at that time, and you're just trusting in your people, I guess.
Yeah, I completely did not do this the first 3 years, and I would say coming out of COVID, like when is that? Are we still out of it? But the real hard first COVID, I realized I was just going to spiral down if I was going to maintain the life I had. And it wasn't fair to my kids, but it just wasn't going to work. So I just honestly won't answer the call, or I will, it sounds pretty brutal, but I find I actually will go backwards. I'll actually be ineffective. And so I just stop looking at the emails. And
that's good advice. There's only one of you after all. So if you don't look after
and if
yourself,
you piss someone off by not looking at an email, it wasn't meant to be, is my opinion. If it can't wait that long, then it wasn't meant to be.
I'm making a note of that. What advice, maybe as your parting shot, what advice would you like to leave our listeners? You've given us some great advice already, but what would you like to leave us with?
Every single person has a different need with health, be it big, middle, big, medium, or small. And just take one step towards something. It doesn't even matter. Whatever it is that interests you, you need. Like, you wouldn't be attracted to it. You wouldn't notice it if you didn't need it. So, when I think of the program here, I needed it. And, acupuncture, I need it. whatever you're attracted to, just try, and it will build on that. I don't want health to be intimidating, overwhelming, and just this like huge mountain that you don't even know where to start.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank
Great
you,
advice.
Mario.
And thanks for making the time. Listening to how busy you are, I know as we speak the US is waking up and there's business to be done. But it's always a pleasure seeing you.
And you.
Love talking to you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.